Well, I already made one video on this, but I'm gonna make another one. I made one that was way too long. I'm gonna try to condense this down. Got this 20 in here again. Yep, it's like a 135, but it's a massey Ferguson 20 industrial. No letter designation. It's just a plain 20. What I had going on was I needed to replace my power steering pump. I wanted to get a quick note out to anybody who might be in the same jam I'm in with what I just did. All right. You can see the power steering lines going to the pump have these metal bends in them that keep it in a certain fashion. All right. And this is a round pump. This is the old pump that was on here. This is the back of the pump. That's the back of that pump. That pump on the floor right there, the yellow one, is called a Plessy pump, Plessey. Over here is the Plessy pump itself in my vise. The hose fittings are sort of oriented in the same fashion. All right, now what I want to get at over here is I replaced the pump, hooked everything up. The steering was really weak. Here's the manual. You can use the round or the Plessy. Here's the Plessy. Here's the round one. You do not have to, or I did not have to order new lines up here. I actually was able to use my old lines down here. I just had to get some different fittings to go in this pump. These fittings that were in this pump won't fit that pump. So I made the fittings work to fit the hoses. Now, there's an inside oriented line on each one of these from the shaft. Here's the deal that you're gonna run into if you change from a Plessy style pump to this round pump. The pressure and the return line are oriented different. So that's what I had happen. I hooked everything up and it didn't work. So I was like, this is weird. So I said, well, maybe I had these lines on my cylinders reversed. That wasn't the problem. It was the pressure. So I did reverse my steering lines down here and it still didn't work. It worked okay, but it wasn't right. So I immediately knew, hey, my pressure and return line on my pump was wrong. Well, because I had this going on down here, I switched the lines back on my cylinders so they'd be right. And I said, well, I need to switch my power steering lines on my pump down here itself. These are two different sizes also. They're JIC. The JIC is the same size, but the plug that goes into the back of the pump is different. They're different sizes. So what I did was I came over here on the steering box and I switched them down here, which is the same thing. Now it steers pretty good at about 1,000 RPMs to 900 RPMs. Just a little above an idle, it'll steer okay. Just a quick note there, if anybody's changing from a Plessy, which this is a very old style. I think this is only used for a few times maybe, but I'm sure there's a lot of people probably have them on their tractors. But keep that in mind if you're changing it. I mean, I probably should have looked at the book before I did it, but that's what you get, when they say you assume. So that's what I did. Like and prescribe.